you do with old violin cases? First we're going to clean it up. We're going to give it a good scrubbing. It's just got a little bit of dust on it, so using a wet wipe here, we're just going to clean it and get all the grime off of it so that we can then paint it. Yep, I said paint it. So we're going to give this 2 really good coats of Debi's Design Diary DIY paint in the color Vintage Linen. It's a little bit of a gray white, and I'm painting the hinges and everything to go with it. So next, after we've painted it, we're going to use liquid patina in crystal chandelier, crystal clear. And it is also a Debi's Design Diary DIY product. So putting on a thick coat, we're then going to use this Jami Vintage Decoupage paper. It is the Marie Antoinette, and it is a thick enough paper that you can do what I just did. You'll see me a couple times kind of pick it up and reshift it and work to flatten out all of the fold lines from where it was folded. When you use other products that are thinner, such as napkins, it would tear. So that's why I really love using the Jami Vintage Decoupage paper. Then I'm going to lather up that decoupage medium here on the bottom, and I will fold that back down and flatten out the wrinkles that, again, it's just from where it was folded. But then also this is a curved surface, so it does make it a little bit harder to get those wrinkles out. So some of them where it wrinkled, I just kind of flattened it down over and left the wrinkles, but pressed them down. And I am using a baggie. A lot of people use plastic wrap, but a baggie is what I had. So I just used a baggie to keep my fingers from tearing it, cut off the excess, and then using some 220 sandpaper, and this is actually not even a new piece of sandpaper, it's been used a lot. I'm going to go in a downward motion around the edge of it so that it will tear off and I don't have to worry about cutting it as closely. The paper was just a little bit shorter than my case, so some of the pieces that I tore off the side, I'm going to fill in the gaps around the bottom. And here, this is really hard to do with one hand, so I know it looks a little awkward, but to help blend in the edges from the 2 pieces together, I am going to just take water, that's just water in that can lid there, and a clean paintbrush, and I'm just going to paint the edges of it, and then as I tear it off, it creates that rough edge so that you don't have that big straight line when you put the pieces together. And I will actually put this over top of the other paper so that you can't see where it is. So the original idea was that I was just going to distress around the edges, and so I didn't cut here. I did it the same way, but I didn't like the way it looked. That's part of the whole DIY. You know, you do a little bit, and if you don't like it, you just do something different. So I took several colors and I would blend them together and match the edge as closely as possible of my paper. And I had, let's see, Farm Fresh, Hey Sailor, Bohemian Blue, the vintage linen color, and I just would keep going and use several different paint brushes, and I had one that was dry that I would just use to blend. And here you can see it's a little bit too blue, so I'm going to add in some of the white to kind of fix that and just keep using my brushes to keep blending them together. So you'll see at the end what the entire project looked like, where I would add them in. I did end up also at the end kind of using a little bit of the little black dress and a couple other colors just to help blend it in the best that I could. So this was really a fun project. It's the first time I've ever done this. If you watch Ellen J. Goods, she does this all the time with her decoupage paper and makes it look so easy. So I struggled, but I think the more I do it, the better I'll get. It was really fun, and so I'm looking forward to doing some larger pieces with these full sheet decoupages again, and just blending it in. You just kind of keep going until you get to where the colors match and you like the way it looks. Also, to help blend it in, I went through and sanded all of it, kind of distressing the paper a little bit and then sanding down my paint so that it wasn't so chunky around the edges. And again, I'm using this extremely used sandpaper, so it doesn't have to be, I probably could have just used a brown paper bag to do what I was doing. And then using that same liquid patina, I am sealing everything in. I used several coats on the front here. I just wanted it to have a good sturdy cover and make sure that that paper and that paint, that none of that would rip or tear off when it was used in the future. All right, so you've seen me paint it, you've seen me add paper, but you still don't know what I'm doing. So here I have these adorable, tiny little coated cup hooks. So we are going to begin using those and adding those in, and we are making a jewelry box that will hang on the wall. From the back, you'll have the whole thing hanging, and it will have places for earrings and necklaces. And you can see there, I've put 6 up in the top, but I felt like it needed a little bit extra when I thought about my earring stash. I thought, it really needs another layer. So dumped out my junk drawer, quote unquote, stash of screws and nails using a sanding block for my measurement. I found these little nails that were perfect, and I'm just going to hammer them in from both sides using 4 nails, 2 on each side, to hold my piece in here. So that gives me some place to add more of my little cup hooks so that you have a little bit more storage. And then using my 2CA glue in the medium, because that was what I had handy, I am gluing, and then it'll be a combination of the screws and the glue. And this glue has the accelerator to help it dry in 15 seconds. And I am going to put this little magnet closure in the top. And that is actually what originally would have had, like it would have held your resin and so forth for your violin case. But that is absolutely the perfect storage for your little earrings, the ones that don't hang, your little posts, or anything else that you want to stash in that little compartment. But I wanted to make sure that it would stay closed, since this was going to be hanging on the wall and you're going to be opening and closing the case to get other things out. I just wanted to make sure that that wouldn't fall open. So I added this little magnet close, and there you go. You can see where it stays and it will hook on that little magnet. It has these feet, if you will, these little nubs on the back. Well, that one was right where I wanted to hang my French cleat. So I pried that off, and then I added my French cleat, painted everything underneath there before I added it, and here is the finished girl.
Solo un rayo del sol cambia el tiempo en el reloj. Hoy mis deudas reciben perdón. Pago por el show. Me siento feliz porque si no soy yo, pues ¿quién? Todos caen a mi lado. El freno lo arranqué. Me siento feliz porque yo no dudo mi power. Te burlaste de mí, se hace acabo. Trata de festejar, celebramos el bienestar. Tantas estrellas brillan, quiero un carro que corra más. Nada me rompe, no, nada me rompe. Trata de festejar.